Welcome to the University of Concordia in Irvine side of today's California Collegiate League matchup in the Southern Division between the home team Orange County Riptide and the visiting Academy Barons. Hello, I'm Michael Wolfling, and we are in for quite a doozy, and welcome back. That's another thing. It's been a couple of weeks since we have seen any action here at Concordia, and we are looking forward to playing some ball on some home turf. 2 weeks away, and still the Riptide kept to their hot baseball streak, kept their lead in the Southern Division of the California Collegiate League. They are now 2 games above the Arroyo Seco Saints. And they are on a pretty modest 3-game win streak to move to 18-8-1 all around and 15-8 in the CCL season. Now they're going up against the Barons, who last year won this Southern Division with a record of 24-11. They actually came second in the entire they came second in the conference, losing to the Santa Barbara Foresters in the regular season. Well, who didn't lose to the Foresters last year? And the Foresters have been pretty well this year as well. They started off sort of slowly, actually lost their first matchup against the Riptide, and since then they have stormed into third place overall in the CCL, 19-8. They are 2 games up on the Riptide, so both of those teams playing spectacular ball, and who could forget the top two, the Neptune Beach Pearl and the Healdsburg Prune Packers, who have been swapping first place all season long. The Neptune Beach Pearl sit at 15-5, and the Healdsburg Prune Packers sit at 17-7. But all in all, it looks like that the playoffs are getting into view a little bit. We are about to take a short break for the All-Star game at some point. And mentioning the All-Star game, the Riptide actually lead the CCL in All-Star selections with 7. And a couple of them are out there today, including Bo Phillip, Dominic Fletcher, Joey Parente, just to name a few. Well, we are just about ready for the first pitch, and this one is going to be Caleb Squire out there to face Hayden Shenfield. Shenfield making his 4th appearance in CCL play for the Riptide. The small righty has been dealing a 2.93 ERA on the year. He sets and delivers. The first pitch of the game is swung on and lined back up the middle, a shallow fly ball. Fletcher is not going to get to it, and the first pitch single. They're going to try to get him back at first. A smart little play by Fletcher to try to catch Squire, who might have been unaware or not really paying attention. Good effort by Fletcher, but Squire gets back to first safely. It's going to be a runner on first and nobody out for Trevor Edier. Edier, a 186 average on the year. Has not done much in the previous 2 games of this set. First pitch, fastball up high, at about the shoulders, 1-0. Edier does have phenomenal speed and has good gap power. Pickoff attempt there, Squire slides back in safely. Something about Edier, he has great speed, but he does have a tendency to strike out. In his 43 plate appearances, he struck out 13 times. He took that one, a fastball up high as well, 2-0. A 1-pitch single to Squire, now the 2-0. Another fastball that looked like a 2-seamer that runs up and in on Edier, 3-0. And since that first pitch, he's not been able to find the strike zone. The 3-0. Fastball low and outside corner, 3-1. We're still in the hitter's count, though. Although Edier has had trouble on the year, he's been pretty much at the top of the Barons lineup all season. Ground ball to the third baseman Gomez to second for 1, and they're not going to have enough time. But the short way by Gomez to Williams and gets 1, and there's going to be a runner on first. 1 out now. And you say it's good to get the man at second out, but Edier has arguably more speed, 2 stolen bases on the year. That doesn't show just how fast he is. He haunts the nightmares of catchers all across the league with his phenomenal speed. Up to the plate now is Joseph Argamedo. Argumedo DHing today. The first pitch, a breaking ball. Swung on and missed, a big cut. 0-1. Argumedo 160 average on the year. It's a tale of two teams here today, the Riptide and the Barons. Oh, and they got him. Shenfield tries to pick off Edier, and he slips on his way. They have him in a pickle, and he tried to spin around Williams, but Edier is out, 2 away. So a good pickoff attempt there by Shenfield. Very quick with the jump step. Has 2 gone and nobody out. 2 gone and nobody on. So he shakes off that leadoff single and a 3-0 count to get back into this one. Nobody on base and all trying to go 1-2-3. The 1-0 delivery. Swung on and drilled into right center field just over the head of Williams at second, who tried to jump. It was just about an inch too low. So another single by Argumedo. That's going to bring up the cleanup man, Jason Wallace. A little surprising today. Solomon Bates has only played in 1 game of this 3-game set. He is not in the lineup today, so their all-star and a deadly hitter has not seen much action against this Riptide team. Of course, the Riptide are looking for a sweep. They won the first game 5-4, and then another one 5-0. Those were both at the MLB Youth Academy. They're going to say he went around on that check swing, 0-1 to Wallace. Let's go through the lineup for the visiting Barons. Batting first is Squire, followed by Edier and Argumedo. In the cleanup spot is Wallace. Pickoff attempt there. Argumedo is back safely. In the 5 spot is Jesse Hayes, followed by Michael Garner. In the bottom third is Whitfield, Martin, and Contreras. And they're facing a rather hot team in the Orange County Riptide. This one's popped back and just out of play. Directly, one of the parents witnessing the game. She got out just in time. And that's what's scary. That's why you bring your glove to the games, everybody. So 0-2 the count now to Wallace, looking at a clean first after surrendering a leadoff single and a nice pickoff to get the second out. The 0-2. A slider that ends up in the feet of Polshin, and he can't find it. Ended up going behind the umpire. However, Argumedo does not take off. Argumedo doesn't have the greatest speed over there at first. And he hesitated a little bit. If you're going to take off, you can't hesitate. One and two the count. The stretch delivery, swung on and missed. He got him. A strikeout from Shenfield to end the first. So he surrenders 2 hits and leaves 1, but no runs come across. We get to the bottom of the first. It's going to be Parente, Phillip, and Fletcher. When we come back on the Orange County Riptide Network, stay tuned. Now coming up to the plate for the Riptide, the leadoff man. He's been the leadoff man all year, Joey Parente. Parente, the father of speed for this Riptide team, leads the club in stolen bases with 9 and has only been caught once. That's what you call a good base runner. And he will be one of the players representing the Riptide in the upcoming CCL All-Star game. And how could you not after hitting .342? Hit his first home run during that 2-week road trip, swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. A big swing, and it's 0-1. Parente awaits the second pitch. It's a fastball that ends up outside. Parente takes 1-1. Parente loves to swing at that first pitch. Every time I talk to him, I say, what's your game plan going into this game? And he says, swing at the first thing they give me. If it's a strike, I'm going to take a hack. The 1-1, it's a fastball just outside, but it was at the knees, 2-1. Parente has a good eye as well. He has a .342 batting average, and you think, well, then his on-base percentage can't be that high. It's .442. That's phenomenal. Parente fouls this one off his foot. For a second there, it looked like a dribbler to third. But the umpire saying it went off his foot, and you could tell Parente was hobbling a little bit after that. But he seems to be all right. That's what you wear the ankle guard for. Count will remain at 2-2. Parente looking to lead off this inning the same way the Barons led off the top of the first with a single. Parente always a threat to go. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him with the high heat, so the first out will be via the strikeout, and Parente is going to head back to the dugout, 1 away.
Next up, the shortstop from San Joaquin Delta JC, number 19, Bo Phillip.
Bo Phillip going to head up to the plate now. The sophomore from San Joaquin Delta Junior College, looking to go somewhere Division I next year. He will also be an all-star for the Riptide in the CCL All-Star game. They have 7. That's more than any other team. Next closest is the Foresters with 6. First pitch is a fastball down low, 1-0. They're going to be facing off against Taylor Tungate. Tungate on the year has done pretty well. There's a swing and a miss. To the second batter, Bo Phillip. 1-1 the count now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Still nobody on against Tungate. The 1-1 is a fastball, runs inside. Phillip getting away from that a little bit. 2-1. And the 2-1 delivery. Breaking ball left up high, just above the strike zone, 3-1. That's actually a little lucky. You always say if you're going to miss with a breaking ball, you want to miss low, because if you miss high, it's very possible that they can take it for a ride. The hitter, 3-1, swung on and missed. Foul tipped into the glove of Hayes behind the plate. 3-2, the count runs full. An ERA of 7.36 for Tungate on the year, but that doesn't really detail how effective he's been. A stat that I always like to look at is FIP. If you don't know what FIP is, it's fielding independent pitching. And it basically determines what would a pitcher's ERA be if they had league average, defense, batting average on balls in play, and stuff like that. There's a ground ball to the left side. Foul, dribbled in front of the Riptide dugout. But they say that a phenomenal FIP is 3.2. And if you look at Tungate, he's actually got a FIP of 3.19. So he's actually been phenomenal on the mound, just a little bit of bad luck perhaps. They say a pitcher doesn't have much control on balls in play, and I'm sure Tungate would like to say that right now. Here's a ground ball to the left side. The shortstop, Martin, has it on his backhand. The throw to first is not in time, and it's offline as well. A nice job by Wallace at first to make sure it didn't get past him, but Phillip is going to be on with an infield single. Their first hit of the game for the Riptide. So Phillip's going to be on first for the 3-spot Dominic Fletcher. And the Riptide are led off by 3 straight All-Stars. Their other All-Stars include Caleb Killian, David Miranda, Parker Joe Robinson, and Cooper Ewell. So those are the 4 others, only 2 pitchers. And the Riptide have been pretty much carried by their hitting. They have had good pitching. Here's a line drive to left. That one's going to fall in front of Whitfield, and it's going to be runners at first and second with 1 away. So first pitch swinging by Fletcher. He delivers a base hit and moves Phillip on over to second. That's going to bring the cleanup man, Jake Polshin. And I've been talking about the Riptide having 7 All-Stars, but there were a lot of people that thought that they could have had more. Jake Polshin, one of them, Logan Polson, the man on deck. A couple pitchers as well. Will Tomlinson has been pretty good all year. And that's just to name a few. Those are just the first few that come to mind. First pitch. Looked like a slider that stays inside. 1-0. Tungate has had a little bit of trouble getting that first strike across all year. Only a 61% first strike thrower. The 1-0 delivery, a fastball that ends up almost in the dirt. 2-0. Nice eye by Polshin to lay off. Polshin has a good opportunity to put up some early runs. They have evened the Barons in hits now. 2 singles, 1 by Phillip. He's on second, and Fletcher, who's on first. The 2-0 is low and outside. 3-0. Tungate making his 4th appearance for the Barons. His last one came against the SoCal Catch. And the 3-0 is thrown in there. 3-1 now, excuse me. Only 1 away. Runners at first and second. The double steal here, they're going to try to throw down. But it is ball 4, so he will head on down to first, and the bases are loaded. So the 3-1 pitch is a fastball, ends up in the dirt. Good eye by Polshin. And for a second there, I thought that Phillip was going to be gunned out at third. He was out by a mile if that was a strike, but luckily for them, it's bases loaded now for Polshin. Logan Polshin, .318 average. That's 7 RBIs. That puts him in the top 5 on the Riptide. First pitch, swung on and drilled back up the middle, straight at Edier, who moves slightly to his left. Phillip is going to tag from third, and the throw will go to third, so Phillip will come in to score, and the Riptide take an early 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. 2 gone now for Tate Shaw. Polshin does exactly what you want him to do. And that's not something you expect to see from a man of his size. You expect to see something from him, especially a left-hander. You expect to see lots of pulls. You expect to see the defense go into the shift. But as he's been able to prove all year, he can go the opposite way. When you want him to hit a fly ball, he can hit a fly ball. When you want him to hit something on the ground, he can hit it on the ground. It's what he's been able to do all year. A 2-seam fastball runs away from Shaw, who swings and misses 0-1. Polshin has been a run producer. As a part of that lineup, he became an everyday part of the lineup very early on in the season. And with a lack of catchers, also in the early part of the season when Cooper Ewell went down with an injury after he took a ball up under the mask. 0-2 the count now to Shaw. Polshin was able to move from first and play third for a little bit, and that's a ball 1-2 now. So he has been able to adapt to whatever this team has wanted him to do, and that's why he's in that 5 spot, because he can pretty much do it all on a baseball field. Shaw, the man from Texas, going up against Tungate. The 1-2, breaking ball, down the line, fair! That's going to be a base hit. Fletcher rounds third. He's going to score. Shaw gets into second with a double. A 2-out double for Tate Shaw puts runners at second and third, and another run across. It's now 2-0 Riptide. Now coming up to the plate, Mitch Andrews. Andrews just returned to the team, was away for family reasons, and has made his way back onto the team, and he is much deserved. I got to tell you, I've talked about Andrews and what a great presence he is in the dugout. And I can tell you immediately, I've seen in just my short time back around these guys, dugout has become quite lighter in terms of their emotions, quite more into the game. Just his presence increases morale. The 0-1 is a breaking ball left down the dirt, 1-1. Andrews from Lamar University, a bona fide Cubs fan. A lot of people didn't believe it on the Riptide team, said he was a bandwagon fan. After he came to one of the bus rides in a Chris Bryant jersey, and he wanted to prove to everybody that he was in fact a Cubs fan, told everybody he lived in Chicago for 15 years, or for at least most of his life, can't remember if 15 was the exact number, and told everybody he had a Carlos Zambrano jersey. And he couldn't prove it, or at least he didn't prove it that day, but nobody doubted him. And if you have a Zambrano jersey, that means you put up with the tough times as a Chicago Cubs fan. Now you're in the good times. Moving up there in that wild card race, trying to catch the Colorado Rockies currently. 3-1 the count now to Andrews. An open first base. Tungate could be just sort of pitching around Andrews, who had a really hot bat before he had to head on off the team for a little bit. The 3-1. Swung on and drilled right back up the middle. That's going to score 2. Shaw heads around second. He's going to score. So Polshin and Shaw come around on the 2-out, 2 RBI single by Mitch Andrews. Now a 4-0 lead for the Riptide. So Andrews now with a 6-game hit streak. In those previous 5 games, he had 9 hits. So he really shook off the rust that was seemingly holding him back at the beginning of the year. And he has really proved himself to be a powerful bat and an efficient bat. Good contact ever since he got that hit streak going. Jackson Williams up to the plate now. He's in the 7th spot. First pitch. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Williams, a late addition to this Riptide team. Only appeared in 6 games, but he's appeared in almost every game since he came on the team. That ball gets away from the catcher, Hayes, and Andrews is going to take second on the wild pitch. Now a runner in scoring position in 2 outs. But hey, 2 straight hits. And a hit here would likely score Andrews by Jackson Williams. Already 4 runs across in the bottom of the first, a 4-0 lead for the Riptide. On deck, waits the 9 spot, Paul Gomez. The pitch, way inside. A little bit of a dodge there by Williams. 2-1 now. And I always say the 1-1 pitch, the most important pitch in baseball. If it's 1-2, you're in the pitcher's advantage. If it's 2-1, you're in the hitter's advantage. And Tungate has had trouble in that count. The 2-1. Down low with the fastball, 3-1. Tungate has seen 4 1-1 counts through the first 8 batters, and has delivered ball 2 on 3 of them. Mitch Andrews, the man at second. The 3-1 delivery. Breaking ball ends up in the dirt, and Williams will head on down to first with his leisurely stroll, and a walk that puts 2 on for Paul Gomez.
Up to bat, the third baseman from the University of Missouri, number 10, Paul Gomez.
Paul Gomez from the University of Missouri. I guess that's a new development. He's been listed as going to Cypress JC the past couple of years. So congrats to him if this is in fact a done deal. If he is heading to the University of Missouri. They're a great baseball program, and Gomez will only make it better as he has made this Riptide team better with his utility skills and his ability to come off the bench and provide a great bat and a good eye. 1-0 the count now. The 2 runners on are Andrews at second and Williams at first. Swung on and grounded back up the middle. The pitcher, Tungate, has it. The soft toss to first will retire the side, but not before 4 runs come across, and the big hit was a 2-out, 2-run single by Mitch Andrews. They almost bat around, but they go into the second with a 4-0 lead. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. Up to bat for the Barons, Jesse Hayes, the 5 spot. After a close to 1-2-3, despite giving up 2 hits, did Shenfield in the first. First pitch is drilled to left field, but right at Shaw, who just takes a couple steps back and makes the catch for out number 1. So just like the first one pitch and contact is made, but this time it's a fly out to left field.
Next up, the right fielder, number 8, Michael Garner.
Michael Garner, the right fielder, up to the plate now. Garner, a 156 average on the year. No extra base hits. Shows bunt there and pulls it back, but it's a strike anyway. Shenfield is ahead in the count, 0-1. Shenfield, 1 strikeout. He struck out Jason Wallace to end the top of the first. Now with a 4-run lead, he can pitch much more relaxed. There's a big swing and a miss from Garner. Had him way out in front on the changeup, 0-2. First 0-2 count Shenfield has seen. The delivery. Grounded to the right side, foul, almost straight into the on-deck circle, but softly. A lot of soft contact being forced by Shenfield. Awaiting the 0-2. Shenfield out of the stretch. He delivers. Breaking ball just outside. Garner thought about it, but held back. 1-2 the count now. Shenfield's 4 appearances on the year. This one's popped up. Polshin is underneath it. To the right side in foul territory, he makes the catch and retires his man for out number 2.
Next up, the left fielder, number 13, Eric Whitfield.
That's going to bring in the left fielder, Eric Whitfield. Whitfield, he's undecided where he's going to go, the junior. He's from Millbrae, California, though. Nice town. Small town. Not a lot of people have heard of it. 2 outs. The first pitch. 2-seam fastball left up high at the shoulders, 1-0. Shenfield loves to throw breaking stuff. Even in late counts, he loves his slider. That is arguably his most effective pitch. It is his strikeout pitch. There we see the slider, and it's grounded to Phillip, a high chopper, who tosses on over the first. A strong toss to get his man for out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 for Shenfield in the second. Only 9 pitches needed. And we head to the bottom of the second. A 4-0 lead for the Riptide on the Orange County Riptide Network. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be back. Stay tuned. So Joey Parente will lead off the second the same way he led off the first. A 4-run inning for the Riptide in the bottom of the first against Tungay, who returns out there. The first pitch, a big swing and a miss from Parente. That's what Parente does. He likes to swing big. You might see plenty of those throughout his career with the Riptide. A stellar career at that. He's been stellar everywhere he's gone. Fullerton College, he had above 325 in his 2 seasons. Headed to Lewis and Clark State, takes that fastball that runs outside, 1-1. And then headed to Idaho. Not exactly the best state choice, but a good program at Lewis and Clark. 2-1 the count now. Delivery. Outside, 3-1. Parente's in the hitter's count. Parente staying patient after that first pitch, as he usually does. The 3-1. Outside, Parente's going to head on down to first. And Tungate has had trouble with his control all year. He's been very inconsistent in that manner. In his previous 3 appearances, he's had 2 games where he's had more strikeouts than walks, and then that 1 game where he had far more walks than strikeouts. If the Riptide continue what they're doing, we might see another one of the latter. Parente's on first. First pitch to Phillip. Swung on and missed. A foul tip back into the glove of Hayes. 0-1. Phillip has really turned his season around since the early goings. The bluff steal by Parente. Swung on and missed by Phillips. 0-2. And I say the early parts of the season, so I'm talking through the first 10 games. Phillip was in the lineup every day. I was hitting about 150. And a lot of people were expecting a little bit more from him. And he has by far blown the expectations out of the water ever since then. There's a ball inside. The 0-2 count goes 1-2 now. Phillip has moved his average from 150 to 312. He's appeared in almost every game for the Riptide. Has a home run. The steal by Parente, and he's going to get in there without a throw as it gets in between the legs of Hayes. Parente thought about third, but Hayes got up quickly and was still aware and was ready to throw down to Contreras at third. Had Parente decided to go, but a smart move by Parente to hold up. 2-2, the count now is even to Bo Phillip. Phillip also played spectacular defense. He has played spectacular defense. Actually leads the team in errors, but that doesn't really tell you the whole story. There's a high, deep fly ball to left field. Whitfield moving over into foul territory and just to the left of the fence. It's going to be a foul ball. It's a very high. That's what you call a hard foul or a hard strike, but in this case there were 2 strikes. 2-2, the count remains. We'll do 2-2, take 2. The runner at second is Parente. A walk and a stolen base, his 10th on the year. 19 RBIs for Bo Phillip on the year to match the number on his back. One of the tops in the team, along with David Miranda and Dominic Fletcher. The 2-2 looked to be a little bit inside, but protecting was Phillip, and he grounds it to the left side in front of the Riptide dugout. Count remains at 2-2. Take 3. This is what Phillip does best. He finds himself in a lot of 2-strike counts, but he's very good at making the pitcher work for that strikeout. There's a changeup. It runs just below the knees. Good eye by Phillip. 3-2. The count runs full. So from 0-2 to 3-2, as we've seen Phillip do a lot during this season. Now just waiting for Tungate to make a mistake, and that mistake could be a ball. There is an open first base, but you never want to put 2 on for the man on deck. Dominic Fletcher pickoff attempt is going to get Parente at second. And a very good communication between Tungate and the second baseman Squire, and they're going to toss Parente. Parente looked like he was talking back to the umpire at second. They're going to toss him immediately. And now Glenn Walker going to go out there and try to talk the umpire into letting Parente come back. I'm not sure if that's allowed after you get tossed. I'm trying to listen in on what they're saying, but they are pretty far away. So Parente is tossed. We'll see who gets put in for him. Count is still full to Phillip. Try saying that 10 times fast. But there is one away now and nobody on. The leadoff walk is negated by that pickoff. Probably Aaron Greenfield would be the next man off the bench to replace Phillip in right field. He's played pretty well in the previous 2 games of this set. The 3-2 pitch is inside, ball 4. And there's going to be one on for Dominic Fletcher. So 2 straight walks to lead off the second, and now they're going to go out there and talk to his man on the mound. Kenny Landreau, his 6th season with the Barons. Talking to Tungate, the bullpen is going for the Barons. They have the lefty up in there, Jared DeRoca. DeRoca has pitched against this Riptide team before. And as soon as I can figure out when that was, I will let you know how he did. But he seems to be the one who would head in. There are 2 pitchers in the bullpen, but one of them seems to just be stretching out. So the meeting on the mound has concluded, and with the one away, he's going to face Dominic Fletcher. He will keep the Pearl for now. Fletcher, the Arkansas Razorback, and the huge power threat, one of the biggest power threats in the CCL. Tied for the league lead in the Dinger department with Lucas Halstead from the Neptune Beach Pearl, each of them with 6. However, Fletcher has played in 1 less game, so if you want to look at it that way, then hey, he's got the most home runs per game played. 1-0 after that fastball was down in the dirt. A nice block by Hayes to keep Phillip at first. And now the steal by Phillip. Phillip hesitated, but he will make it to second in time. Got a huge jump. And the whole team, the Barons team, was telling Tungate to step off, but he was already in the middle of his motion. That's what caused Phillip to hesitate just a little bit. He thought Tungate might be able to step off. And then when he saw that Tungate had to continue his motion, took off. Second stolen base of the game, of the contest for the Riptide. Puts a man in scoring position. Counts 1-1 to Fletcher. Fletcher, a .364 average, .425 on base percentage. And here's a ground ball to the left side. Off of the glove of Wallace. Is going to end up in foul territory. And that's going to allow Phillip to score. He got a nice jump off of second. Saw that it was to the right side of the infield. Took off immediately. And as soon as it bounced off of Wallace, he knew where he was going. Now a 5-0 lead for Orange County on the base hit by Fletcher. They are going to call that a base hit. It was a difficult play.
Up to bat, the catcher from Houston Baptist University, number 8, Jake Polshin.
So the 2 walks eventually come around. One of them comes around to score, at least after the pickoff by Tungate against Parente. The cleanup man Polshin coming up to the plate now. Polshin, .318 average, 9 RBIs. First pitch. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Fletcher plays center field, so he does have good speed, a definite 5-tool player for this Riptide team. Pickoff attempt there, but Fletcher a little bit aware, slides back in safely, gets his uniform a little bit dirty. 0-1, the count remains to Polshin. And the pitch is swung on and fouled straight back, 0-2. Fletcher was attempting to steal. Fletcher does have 4 stolen bases on the year, but has been caught twice. He is a fast player, doesn't get the greatest reads off of pitchers. It's something he's been working on, something he's definitely shown improvement on throughout the course of the season. He was 0 for 1, got caught in his very first steal attempt, and since then has gone 4 of 5. There's a fastball that's left up high and a little bit inside as well to Polshin. 1-2. Wallace holding on Fletcher over there at first. Pickoff attempt to no avail. Fletcher slides back in safely once again. This would be the perfect time for Fletcher to go. He's already gone once. One away. Because even if he did get caught and Polshin got out, it would be 5-6-7. One of the most dangerous 5-6-7s in the CCL. The 1-2. Grounded down the third base line just to the left of the bag. 1-2, the count remains. One away here in the bottom of the second. A 5-0 lead for the home team Riptide. This was the score of yesterday's game, but we're only in the second. Pickoff attempt there. Fletcher getting in just in time safely. We've already seen 2 successful pickoffs in this game. Tungate just got Parente earlier in this half inning. And earlier in the game, Shenfield got Edier. There's a line drive into the 56 hole on the left side of the infield. 2 on, 1 away for the 5 spot, Logan Polshin.
Up to bat for the Riptide, the first baseman from the University of Hawaii.
Logan Polshin from the University of Hawaii. Got great leather over there at first. Spent a lot of time playing third base this year, as I've mentioned. Actually, something very smart that I saw that the Riptide did. Shortstop, Martin holding on Fletcher at second. 5-0 lead for the Riptide. 5 runs on 6 hits. We're only in the second. Only 1 away in the second. Tungay has not been effective against his Riptide lineup. First pitch, swung on and fouled off the mask of Hayes. 0-1. But something that I like that the Riptide did, they got another catcher, which gives them 4 on their roster. Polshin, Ewell, Andrews, and now Chase Shebby. Shebby actually hit a home run in the first game of this series against the Barons, and that was a key part to their 5-4 victory. But when it gets to this time, when the days are very, very hot, in fact, in the parking lot where everybody has to park now, it was 107 just before the game. There's a line drive straight at the second baseman, Squire, who was able to double up Fletcher at second after Martin was there to cover the bag. So 2 on, and they threaten for more, but only get 1 across. A 5-0 lead as we head to the top of the third. Stay tuned to the Orange County Riptide. I'm Michael Hofling. We'll be right back. We're in the top of the third here at the University of Concordia in Irvine. An early 5-0 lead for the Orange County Riptide. They're going to and Shenfield returns out there for his third inning of work, facing the 8, 9, and 1 spots. Bruce Martin, the shortstop, to lead things off, and the first pitch he sees is swung on and missed. A yuckadoo hack, as I like to call it. 0-1. Shenfield pitches out of the stretch even when nobody's on base. That's where he likes his control. Here's a line drive out into center field. Fletcher running back, but gets there with plenty of time to make the running catch for out number 1. So 2 pitches, 1 out. Nobody on base for the 9 spot. Darren Contreras playing third base today. That's something I didn't do yet. I haven't gone over the defensive lineups for the Riptide. Let's do that, shall we? From left to right, it's Tate Shaw, Dominic Fletcher, and it was Joey Parente. We'll figure out who that is out there. Joey Parente got tossed in the second. Over at the hot corner is Paul Gomez. At first is Logan Polson. The 2 middle infielders are Bo Phillip at short and Jackson Williams at second. Jake Polson, he'll be behind the plate in the squat, putting down the signs, and on the mound is Hayden Shenfield. 1 away now, 1-0 after that fastball ran high. Contreras takes the slider that ends up on the outside corner. 1-1, the count's even. Contreras from Marymount, California University. Went to Lakewood High School in Lakewood, California, of course. He's been effective every step he's been there. 2-1 the count now. Delivery's a 2-seamer out into right field. Right fielder moves towards center and makes the catch. 2 gone. That's going to bring up the top of the lineup. Caleb Squire. Caleb Squire, 1 for 1 on the day, singled, and then promptly had to return to the dugout after the next man up, Trevor Ettier, ground into the fielder's choice in the 5-4. He swung at the very first pitch he saw and lined it back up the middle. Got a single. Fletcher tried to double him up over there at first, but good awareness by Squire to know where the throw was going. 0-1 the count out to Squire. Second pitch, a changeup that ends up outside. 1-1. The 1-1 delivery, a breaking ball. Tried to backdoor it there, started it outside, but it kept outside. 2-1 the count now. Caleb Squire went to Barstow Community College the past couple of years. .380 average with 4 home runs and 39 RBIs during his career. And that's spectacular. Here he lines a ground ball, sharply hit, but a nice glove by Phillip. And the throw to first will retire the side. So 3 up, 3 down, second straight one for Shenfield. It's nice when you got a 5-run lead. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third inning on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the University of Concordia in Irvine. I'm Michael Hofling. A 5-0 lead for the Riptide. Taylor Tungate returns out there for his third inning of work to face Tate Shaw on the first pitch he sees. As a fastball at the knees. 0-1. Tate Shaw from the University of Texas. He's a Longhorn. .237 career average for them. He's hit 2 home runs and he's stolen 4 bases. As a redshirt freshman, he only appeared as a pinch runner. He took to his role and accepted it, and then got more playing time. Appeared in 38 games in his redshirt sophomore season. And he really proved himself. Albeit the .239 average, but a .358 on-base percentage. There's a line drive out to the second baseman, Squire, who can't get it. It ends up in right field, and Shaw will end up on first base with a single to lead off the bottom of the third. And that will bring up the designated hitter, Mitch Andrews. Andrews from Lamar University, 1 for 1 on the day with a couple of RBIs as well. Ended up on second after a wild pitch, but that would be as far as he went. That was a clutch 2-out hit. He's had a series of 2-hit games during this modest 6-game hit streak. A 7-game hit streak now, excuse me. First pitch left up high with the breaking ball, 1-0. That is a 6-game hit streak. I apologize. I'm all over the place. I've had 2 weeks off. You got to let me shake off the rust a little bit, perhaps. 1-0 the count to Andrews. The man on first is Shaw. And the 1-0. Andrews thought about it, but it was a strike, a fastball at the knees, in fact. 1-1. 5 runs on 7 hits for the Riptide. No runs on 2 hits for the visiting Barons. Riptide looking for the sweep in their 4th consecutive victory. A pretty good road trip where they only lost 2 games. But it's got to feel good to be back on home turf. Tate Shaw takes off for second. The throw is offline and ends up getting into center field, but the center fielder Edier was there to back it up. So good defensive awareness by Edier. Does not allow Shaw to move over to third, but it is the 3rd stolen base of the game for the Riptide. Meanwhile, Andrews took a ball. It's 2-1. Andrews got to be thinking right center field right now. A big hole over there left by Squire. Here he dribbles this one over to the Riptide bullpen. Count is 2-2. Big hole over on that right side between Squire at second and Wallace at first. Andrews not necessarily your push type of hitter, but he can do that when he has the right approach. But here he gets a line drive down the left field line fair, and that's going to get to the wall. Shaw will score easily, and Andrews will head into second with an RBI double. So 3 RBIs on the day for him. And Andrews flexing his muscles, showing off to the rest of the team, getting a good ovation from his teammates. Second time he's been in scoring position on the year. Second time he's been in scoring position in this game, excuse me. Not on the year. That would be insane. So 3rd straight inning that the Riptide have gotten to Tungate. DeRoca out there still working, the lefty. He's in the bullpen. Here's a hard line drive foul off to the left side by Williams. 0-1. Tungate has not been able to find his rhythm today. 6 runs in 2+ innings. He could be coming out if he has another inning like either of the first 2. And it looks like we might be headed toward that. And that pitch runs inside and hits Williams right on the behind. He will head on down to first after getting hit. 2 runners on and nobody out for Paul Gomez, the 9 spot. Second time that Williams has been hit on the ear, and now Kenny Landreau is going to go out and talk to Tungate. It looks like DeRoca might be coming in. You are allowed 2 meetings per inning. He did use 1 the last inning, but allowed Tungate to keep the Pearl. And we'll see if he does the same here. He does not. The ball will be handed off to DeRoca. We'll be right back when the pitching change is made. Stay tuned to the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Oefling. We'll be right back. So Paul is going to be the first one to face the lefty, Jared DeRoca. DeRoca went to El Camino College this last year from Torrance, California. The lefty delivers. The first pitch is a breaking ball up high. Gomez lays off 1-0. And a couple things about DeRoca. He and I share something. We both love the movie 8 Mile. Who doesn't? I'm a big fan of Eminem. B-Rabbit, as he's called in the movie. 1-0 pitch, high and outside, 2-0. I'm not trying to brag, but I do know every word of Rap God. You might not know what that is, and I don't blame you. But still, Justin, I promise you it's impressive. 2-0 the count to Gomez. 3-0 the count after that fastball runs high and away as well. I don't know what it is with the Riptide. It must be a little bit intimidating because it seems like pitchers are not willing to go in on them. First 3 pitches that Gomez have seen are the first 3 pitches for DeRoca. Since he's come in, they've all been balls. The 3-0 delivery. The 2-seam fastball at the letters, 3-1. We're still in the hitter's count. And something interesting about DeRoca, you look at most of these guys on both teams. And you think, well, both teams, they got a lot of good players from a lot of good schools. And El Camino College is a good school as well. And most of their futures, they say, I want to be a baseball player. They want to get drafted. I want to play for a professional team. You look at DeRoca, and he says he wants to become a computer programmer. And my entire family has trouble with our iPods. So working with a computer is a whole nother story. It's quite impressive. That pitch was high and outside. Bases are going to be loaded now for the top of the lineup. And it's going to be Connor Beck. Connor Beck comes in for Joey Parente. And as I was mentioning, if you can work with a computer, I give you mad props. Because you could teach me a class for 4 years. In fact, I took several classes in middle school and high school, and I still cannot get the hang of it. Bases are loaded. First pitch to Beck. Foul tipped into the glove of Hayes, 0-1. That was a big cut by Beck. And that's something a lot of hitters do after a walk to load the bases. 5 pitches and 4 balls for DeRoca out of the bullpen. You're Beck. You're thinking he doesn't want to walk somebody. He doesn't want to walk a run in. Ground ball to the third baseman, who throws on home, but it actually gets away from Hayes off of his glove, and 2 runs will come across on the E2, and it's going to be first and third, nobody out. So that was a good effort by Contreras, a nice diving stop, and a good throw, but it just goes off the glove. The throw was slightly offline. Hayes not able to keep his foot on the bag and keep the ball. Now 3 runs across in this bottom of the third, and an 8-0 lead for the Riptide. Bo Phillip coming up to the plate now. The lefty tries to pick off Beck at first to no avail. He gets in there without any hesitation. There's a big swing and a miss by Phillips, so the first pitch he sees is up above the letters. 0-1. Phillip, 1 for 1 on the day. He's come around to score twice, a single and a walk and a stolen base. Any of those would be good here because on deck waits Dominic Fletcher. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball that lands on the outside corner, 0-2. Three runs across, an 8-0 lead for the Riptide. 8 runs on 8 hits. There's a ground ball to the left side. Contreras has it. 5-4, not in time. So the fielder's choice, they will just go to second. And there will be 1 away in the bottom of the third for Dominic Fletcher, as I've mentioned. Something I've noticed about the Riptide lineup, but before Becca came into the game for Parente, but she had Parente, Phillip, Fletcher, Pulsion, and Poulsen. And that's 4 Ps and 1 F. And as Vince Scully said, you don't want to have 4 Ps in your top 5. That's tough to do, especially when you get to the age of Vince Scully. That's not what you want to have. First pitch is a breaking ball, ends up outside. Good eye by Fletcher, 1-0. One gone here in the bottom of the third. Runners at the corners. And this ball gets away from Hayes. No hesitation from Phillip. He'll take second easily. 2-0 the count now. So 2 runners in scoring position. You have to imagine that they might be thinking about pitching around Fletcher, which not only would put the double play in order, but would also take the bat out of the hands of Fletcher. 2-0 is the count. The 2-0. A nice stop from Hayes to keep it from going to the backstop, which probably would have scored the runner from third. 3-0. The runner at third is Gomez. On second, Bo Phillip. Fletcher can afford to be very selective here. Fletcher tied for the SEC lead for home runs by a freshman. Now tied for the lead in the CCL and all-around home runs. That was a 2-seam fastball that landed on the outside corner to the lefty Fletcher. 3-1. Fletcher, one of the All-Stars that's going to be participating in Wednesday's game. The 3-1, fastball, just below the knees. Ball 4, bases will be loaded for the 4 spot, Jake Polshin. And what I wanted to mention about Fletcher before he took the walk was he's one of the All-Stars, but if you look at the CCL website and look at the All-Stars Unveiled page, you look at the cover, and it's actually a picture of Fletcher. And if there's a thing or two I know about All-Star voters and award voters and stuff like that, because it tends to be the same people in these kinds of leagues, is that that picture usually shows the MVP of the first half in their eyes. And if he's the MVP of the first half, if he could have any second half like he's had, if he could have a second month like he did in his first month with the Riptide, he might be in line for an MVP in this league, which would go miles in terms of his resume and his MLB draftability. The 2-0 is a fastball outside corner, 2-1. 8 runs on 8 hits for the Riptide. They're up 8-0. Effective pitching by Shenfield and phenomenal hitting at the plate from everyone in the lineup. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. There's a high, deep fly ball, foul to the left side. Straightened to where all the cars would normally be. As I've mentioned, everybody has to park up the hill a little bit, sort of next to the library. Parking lot right next to the baseball field closed off due to construction. 2-2 the count to Polshin. We don't know how long it's going to stay that way, but until then, long walks for everybody, and who doesn't love a long walk? Breaking ball left high and outside, 3-2, the count runs full. The only problem I would have to say with the parking lot being closed off is that the fence that separates everybody from the parking lot, there's a breaking ball that's also high and away. That's going to walk in a run. So another run comes across after the walk to Polshin. Bullpen seems like it's empty for the Barons. Nobody's really warming up. And this is DeRoca's inning. However, Landreau is going to go out there and talk to his man DeRoca on the mound. We'll see if anything's going on. Maybe just trying to give his bullpen a little bit more time to warm up. DeRoca actually pitched in yesterday's game. Pitched 8 pitches to get 1 person out. That's tough to do when you're a pitcher, but he did exactly what he needed to do, which is get that 1 person out, and then headed on back to the dugout. And every bullpen needs one of those. Today he's more in the long reliever type of role. After Tungate went 2+ and gave up 8 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned. Only 1 strikeout, 4 walks, and 1 hit batsman. Logan Polshin, the man at the plate. 9-0. The Riptide lead. First pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, fouled off to the left side. Very hard, 1-1. Polshin, a Hawaii Warrior. I have a couple friends, and I've actually done some work with the Big West Conference. And I've actually seen Polshin play some ball before I actually became the broadcaster for the Riptide. Got to see him play against Cal State Fullerton. And might I say, he made a spectacular play in that game over there at first. As a freshman, he already found his way onto a starting spot on that team. 997 fielding percentage. And a lot of the times fielding percentage doesn't tell the story, but from what I saw from Polshin in that one game, I could tell. That 997 fielding percentage does tell the whole story. There's another ball, 2-2, the count's even. Because on that play, it was very sharply hit. I can't remember who the Titan batter was. It was very sharply hit. 1 bounce, and it could have been 1 to 30 bounces. It was a gopher killer, as I like to call it, but stayed very low to the ground. Right to his left side as he takes that one. Strike 3, DeRoca gets him looking. Bases remain loaded for the 6th spot, Tate Shaw.
The left fielder from the University of Texas, number 4, Tate Shaw.
And as I was saying, It was a spectacular diving play. And not only that, he had enough time to get up because there was a runner on first. It was almost in the hole, had enough time to get up, make the throw to second, get back to first, and make the catch. That's what you call a 3-6-3 double play. And it's something I've almost never seen in quite some time, especially after a dive. You expect the pitcher to get there in time. But Poulsen, such agility for such a man his size. It's 1-1 the count out to Shaw. And he can play anywhere on the diamond. Okay, maybe not the outfield, but he's shown his ability at third base, and a lot of people thought he was going to drop off in terms of fielding ability, but he was more than serviceable. In fact, he was spectacular over there at the hot corner. And now he gets to move on back to first, his natural position. 2-1 the count to Shaw. The lefty DeRocca working out of the windup. The bases are loaded, so you can do that. The 2-1 delivery is fouled off, a little dribbler right at the plate. 2-2, the count's even. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Shaw 2 for 2 on the day. A double, a single, an RBI, and a stolen base. He's had quite a day and looks to increase it here. We're still in the third. First pitch is drilled into right center field, and nobody's going to get there. I shouldn't have said drilled. 2 runs will come across the score. Poulsen will end up on third, and it's a 2-out, 2-run single for Tate Shaw. And now it's 11-0, the Riptide lead.
Next up, the designated
Now Mitch Andrews, the designated hitter, to come up. Runners at first and third. We'll see if there's any 31 tomfoolery, as I like to call it. Andrews 2 for 2 on the day as well. His 5th multi-hit game in 6 games. And that's what you call a hot bat, folks. You could build a campfire with that hot wood. First pitch, a fastball at the letters, 0-1. Singled in the first and drove in 2. And he doubled in the third and drove in Tate Shaw. Came around to score once. Looking to get more RBIs here. Already 3 on the day. The 0-1. Fastball left to inside, 1-1. The runner at third, Jake Poulsen. The runner at first, Tate Shaw. You have good speed over at first, but you have good arms across the outfield. Something in the gap, which Mitch Andrews has done on more than one occasion. He's already hit one into the left field corner. This time he pops it up. Looks like it's going to stay in play. Wallace, it's a mile high, does the pop-up dance, and makes the catch to retire the side. But not before 6 runs come across. We're only in the third, everybody, and it's an 11-0 lead for the Riptide. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. We're in the top of the fourth, and an 11-0 lead for the Riptide. And that says it all. Good pitching, good hitting. Hasn't been the same for the Barons. Find themselves in danger of getting swept in this 3-game set. 2 games at home and this 3rd game at the University of Concordia Irvine. First pitch is a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. First man he faces is Trevor Edier. Hayden Shenfield got him to ground to a fielder's choice last time, and here he grounds it to the shortstop, Gomez. And on 2 hops, tosses on over the first for out number 1. Yes, that is Gomez out there over at short. I did not make a mistake. Looks like the Riptide are trying something a little different, and they can afford to do so when you're up 11-0. Phillip, who has played shortstop all year, is now at the hot corner, and Gomez, who has played second and third, is playing short for the first time this year for the Riptide. Now the 3-spot Joseph Argumedo. He's coming up to face Shenfield. Shenfield, ever since that first where he gave up 2 hits, has not allowed a runner to reach base. First pitch is swung on and missed, a 2-seam fastball, so sort of like a back foot 2-seam fastball. 0-1. He swung right over the top of it. Argumedo 1 for 1. There's a breaking ball just inside. Looked like it might have broken to that inside corner. But hey, it's not my call. 1-1. On deck is the cleanup man, Jason Wallace. Argumedo has spent some time behind the plate. Also at first base for the Barons. Today he's DHing. Here he grounds it to the third baseman, Phillip. Easy play. Routine ground ball. 2 gone. So Shenfield looking for his 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning. Kind of funny though. If he gets this 3rd 1-2-3, it'll be 9 up, 9 down. He will have gone through the entire lineup since that 2-hit first inning, and has not gotten a strikeout. He's just been very good with where he places the ball, getting a lot of soft contact. First pitch fastball just up high, 1-0. Wallace struck out his first time up, and that was in the first. That's the only strikeout for Shenfield. The 1-0 is a breaking ball. Looks like a slider that falls low and outside. 2-0. And you can imagine the relaxation that Shenfield has in his mind right now. Looking to get that W. It would be his first win of the year for the Riptide. There, a changeup swung over the top by Wallace. 2-1. It's got to feel so good to be a pitcher, to have such a huge lead, and know that the elephant is likely to not be eaten. There's a check swing. They're going to say he did go around on the slider. 2-2, the count's even, and the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and number 22 up at the plate. That's right, I found more 2s, everybody. $11-0, the Riptide lead. A breaking ball into the dugout off the easy up in the Riptide, in front of the Riptide players. 2-2, the count remains. Defense lined up pretty straight away. Fletcher, the center fielder, lined up slightly to the left of second base, expecting Wallace to pull slightly. The 2-2. Popped up into center field very high. Converging on it is Shaw and Fletcher, but Fletcher has the read and makes the catch to retire the side. So it's been 9 up, 9 down. In fact, 10 up, 10 down for Shenfield. They lead 11-0 going into the bottom of the 4th. There's nothing more that home fans like to see than this type of game. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. From Howard Junior College, the second baseman Jackson Williams coming up to the plate for his third time. He's 0 for 0. Walk and a hit by pitch. Jared DeRoca returns out there for his second inning of work. Gave up 5 runs. Only 2 of them earned in that bottom of the third. An 11-0 lead for the Riptide. 1-1 the count to Williams. Williams came around to score in the third on that after that hit by pitch. In the 1-1 delivery. Lined into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Nobody was going to be able to get there. That's what you call no man's land out there in right. And it'll be 1 on, nobody out for Paul Gomez, the shortstop.
Next up, the shortstop from the University of Missouri, number 10, Paul Gomez.
I might run out of room on my scorecard with how well the Riptide are hitting. 10 hits in just 3+ innings. 11 runs. They've been very patient at the plate. They've drawn 7 walks and 1 hit by pitch. The 1-0 delivery is a fastball, low and inside corner, 1-1. Not much you could say at this point. It's a nice day. Good day for baseball. Maybe that's why the Riptide are playing so well. It'll be a good day to surf. Maybe they feel it. Maybe that's why the Riptide feel it. Good day to go out to the beach. At the beginning of the game, it was about 87 here in Irvine. And as you got closer to the street, it got to 107, as I was saying a little bit earlier. But yeah, there was not a place you could go that was not blistering heat. That fastball is outside, 2-1. Since then, it's cooled down considerably into the low 80s, high 70s. Not sure exactly. I haven't been able to ask Siri. 2-1 the count, and the delivery is popped up to the right side. Looks like it's going to be out of play, and it does fall out of play over toward the French Hill Reserve. 2-2, the count's even. Nobody working in the bullpen for the Barons. Somebody is working in the bullpen for the Riptide. We'll let you know who that is as soon as we get word. The lefty, DeRoca, toes the rubber and delivers. High and tight with the fastball. Count runs full. $11-0 lead for the Riptide. The Barons' dugout and bullpen is silent. Everybody's just sort of joshing around over there in the Riptide dugout. The full count pitch is high. Fly ball to left field. Whitfield can make a tent underneath there and retires his man for out number 1. Still 1 on, but there is 1 away for the top of the lineup, Connor Beck. Paul Gomez is retired for the second time today. He's now 0 for 2.
About the right fielder from Texas Tech University, number 3, Connor Beck.
Connor Beck, a Red Raider from Texas Tech, came in for Parente in the top of the third after Parente got thrown out after he got picked off. First pitch is fouled off, straight back, right above my head, 0-1. I think right now is actually the perfect temperature for a game of baseball. Not too hot, not too cold. You don't feel terrible every time you have to go out of the shade of the dugout and into the field. There's a slight breeze, but not too much where it will affect the ball. Just good, solid baseball weather. First pitch was inside. Second pitch was inside, 1-1. Jackson Williams, the man at first, has shown no signs of stealing. Has leaned a couple times, but has not made any sort of bluff steal. Here, Beck fouls this one off to the right side, out of play, 1-2. Beck, another late addition for the Riptide in the season. His first game where he was in a Riptide uniform was against the Arroyo Seco Saints in Pasadena. Here he grounds this one into the 56 hole, a base hit, and another one for the Riptide. They're 11th on the day to match their amount of runs. First and second, one away for Bo Phillip. Connor Beck, 7 games played for the Riptide. 200 average, 2 doubles, and a home run. 5 RBIs. There aren't a lot of players on this Riptide team that haven't been able to hit one out. And that being said, I've only been able to witness a couple of them. I've only seen David Miranda hit a grand slam. I've seen 2 by Dominic Fletcher and 1 by Luke Husung. That was before the season even started. But other than that, I've not seen any Riptide home runs. They've all been away. I've not been able to broadcast them. At least I do travel with the team for some of the games. So I've seen a couple. Saw another one by Fletcher in Pasadena. The 0-1 pitch lined right back up the middle. Edier moving in. And he can't make the catch. It short hopped him. Looked for a second like he did make the catch. Forced Williams to sort of hesitate a little bit. And it was just a little bit of confusion all the way around there. But it ends up bases loaded. Nobody comes around to score, and everybody's safe on the base hit by Phillip. Phillip is now 2 for 3 on the day. That's going to bring up the 3-spot Dominic Fletcher, and then if anybody's going to hit a grand slam, it's going to be him. He has not hit one yet, but he might be due for one. First pitch, breaking ball outside corner, 0-1, looked like a slider. Talking to Fletcher a little bit about his ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Here he pops this one up to the left side. DeRoca giving chase, slides and cannot make the catch off of his glove and into foul territory. 0-2. I was talking to Fletcher after one of the games, and I was talking to him, how do you have so much power just by having such a small build? And I'm not saying he has a small build, but he does have a small size, meaning he's a little bit on the shorter end. He's a very strong guy, though. You ever try to arm wrestle him? No siree. Could not do it. I'm a bona fide arm wrestler. I'm not proven, I'm not professional or anything like that, but I consider myself a decent arm wrestler. And I did not stand a chance. He was almost yawning. But Fletcher, here he grounds it to the right side. Wallace has it on 2 hops. He will head on over to first. No attempt at the double play. A run will come across on the 3U. It's now 12-0, the Riptide lead. 4th straight inning that they've been able to score a run. But Fletcher told me the key to power is all in the hips. He said back when he was younger, he used to go up to he used to imitate a batter's box and would just twist his hips, wouldn't even use his hands. And just work on getting his hips around quickly, would work on getting them from sideways to square as fast as he could. And he says that's where most of his power comes from. First pitch to Polshin is a hard ground ball to the left side foul, 0-1. There's 2 runners on, both of them in scoring position. It's Bo Phillip and Connor Beck. Both of them got on via singles. 3 hits in this half inning. Put the Riptide at 12 for the day. The 0-1 fastball left up high, 1-1. Something about Polshin, I haven't seen him. I haven't been with the team. I actually went back home during the 2-week break. Got to see my family for the first time in a while. And that was nice. I always love seeing my family. 1-2 as he fouls that one off to the right side, straight back though. But Polshin has always had phenomenal facial hair. And then he had to go and make it even better. He took that scruff he had all around his face and mowed it down a little bit and left just the mustache and a goatee. Looks like a 1920s gentleman. This one gets to the backstop, a wild pitch. Beck is going to go in, and he's going to score. No slide needed. Does a little dance around home plate. 13 runs now across for the Riptide. It's 13-0. You got the Baker's dozen. Now we'll run around third. And 2 runs across in this half inning. Jake Polshin faces a 2-2 count. And the 2-2 pitch is fouled off to the left side. Little dribbler recovered by Polson. He'll give it back to the home plate umpire. Count remains at 2-2. And I talked to Polson before the game. He was moving to the batting cages, and I was sort of crossing his paths. Here he grounds this one over to the third baseman. Contreras has it on 2 hops. A nice play, and the throw on the first is in time for out number 3. And Polson, I couldn't even say a word. Just too speechless after seeing that fantastic facial hair. You have to get a look at it yourself. Why don't you come on down to the ballpark? I mean, right now it's a pretty good game. 13-0. Wouldn't you love to see that? We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. New pitcher in for the Riptide after 4 strong innings. Hayden Shenfield is out and Kaz Akamatsu is in. He's number 1 on the jersey and number 1 on the field. That being pitcher's position. First batter he's going to face is the catcher, Jesse Hayes. In the first pitch, low and inside the 2-seam fastball, 1-0. Final line for Hayden Shenfield, 4 innings pitched. 2 hits, no runs, no runs, and then of course no earned runs. Only 1 strikeout, but he didn't need many. No walks. That's just what you call a great line. Seemed like he might be in for a little bit of a rough day after the first inning, and he gave up 2 hits, but then really settled down and retired 10 straight to end his outing. The 2-0 delivery. Inside again, 3-0. Seems like Akamatsu is having a little bit of trouble getting it away from the inside part of the plate. Count is 3-0 to Hayes. Riptide in danger of possibly losing that 13-0 lead. But hey, I've always heard, if you're going to eat an elephant, you got to do it 1 bite at a time. But right now, the Riptide want to keep that elephant intact. Do not want anything to come across. 3-1 the count after that one finds the plate. 13 runs on 12 hits. There's a ground ball up the middle. Gomez is not going to be able to get to it in time. First base hit we've seen from the Barons since the first. Akamatsu, UC Irvine. He's going to be an anteater next year. He's right at home. We're in the University of Concordia, Irvine. Next year he's going to be at the University of California, Irvine. So it goes from one UCI to the next. And he was a spectacular pitcher in high school, Edison High School. Two-time first-team All-League, played in the Orange County All-Star Game. He was inducted into his high school's Hall of Fame, in fact. Here's a ground ball into the 56 hole out of the reach of Phillip. And there will be 2 on, nobody out for Eric Whitfield. And all of a sudden, the Barons dugout has some life. If they're going to start eating the elephants, they need to do it right now.
Left fielder number 13, Eric Whitfield.
You could hear in the Barons dugout, a couple of the guys were saying, string them together. That's exactly what you got to do. That's what the Riptide have been able to do very effectively. They haven't needed the big home run ball. In fact, they haven't even had a triple. They've only had 3 doubles. Here's a ground ball over to the right side. They're going to let it go foul. 0-1. And Polson, for a little bit there, it looked like he might try to let it roll back into fair territory after a couple of the runners decided to hold up a little bit and pause. And they were pretty much at second and third anyway, though. But Polson just waiting to see which way the ball was going to roll, but it eventually got past first base and was a foul ball. Pitch from Akamatsu. A high, deep fly ball to left. Shaw is underneath it, right in front of the warning track. He makes the catch. And there will be no attempted tag from second by Hayes. Hayes isn't the fastest runner. 1 away, still 2 on. For Bruce Martin, the shortstop.
Next up, the shortstop, number 26, Bruce Martin.
The entire day, the Barons have been very aggressive at the plate, trying to tackle the first and second pitches. It's led to very low pitch counts from both Akamatsu and Shenfield. And I say Akamatsu because he's faced 3 hitters and has only thrown 11 pitches. Now this one was just the 12th after that strike went across the knees. 0-1. A breaking ball ends up on the inside corner. 0-2. Martin 0 for 1 on the day, flew out to Fletcher in the 3rd. And the 0-2 delivery from Akamatsu. Breaking ball gets away from Polshin. The runners will advance 90 feet, and there's going to be 2 in scoring position. Akamatsu does have strikeout material, and will look to do that here. Does not want to allow any contact, wants to keep the shutout intact. Count is 1-2. And the delivery. Changeup just on the inside. Off the inside, I should say. 2-2, the count's even. Something I forgot about this field is that there are a lot of bugs that like to inhabit it. In fact, from about the second to midway through the 3rd, there was a big bee, one of those big black bees you don't like seeing. I was just sitting on top of my notes. And while I was sitting here talking to you guys, I was trying to find a way to shoo it away. And I don't like to mess with bees. They hurt. Like getting shot by a paintball. And that one gets away, actually hits the knee of Martin. Doesn't matter, would have been ball 4 either way. Martin seems to be all right. Bases will be loaded for the 9 spot, Darren Contreras, the 3rd baseman.
Next up, the 3rd baseman, number 4, Darren Contreras.
Should he hit a fly ball, you got good arms all the way across. And you got a spectacular arm in left with Tate Shaw. Shaw's been able to show it on more than one occasion. Actually has 2 outfield assists on the year. First pitch is down low with a breaking ball, 1-0. The Barons have walked in a run. Riptide not looking to do the same. They are up by 13, though. The fall from a baker's dozen to a dozen, that could lead to some stuff. Here's a ground ball to the shortstop. Gets it on 2 hops. And Polson, a nice play at first. The throw was offline. Polson stepped off of first, got the ball, and then just swung his hand around to tag Contreras out. A run does come across. And the runners do move to second and third on the high chopping 6-3. It's now a 13-1 lead for the Riptide. 2 gone now for Caleb Squire, the top of the lineup. Caleb Squire took the first pitch. It was down low, 1-0. And here's a ground ball to the shortstop, Gomez. 2-hopper and a strong throw to first gets the speedy Squire for the 3rd out. So Akamatsu finds some trouble but works his way out with as minimal bloodshed and damage as possible. Only 1 run across. The Riptide are still up by a dozen. They're up 13-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th at the University of Concordia Irvine. Stay tuned to the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. We'll be right back. New pitcher, 35, Aaron Soto from Marymount University out of Venice, California. Actually spent a little bit of time over at William Penn University. The 5'11 lefty getting ready to deal against Logan Polson. The Riptide have scored in every inning in this contest. First pitch is a fastball left up high just above the shoulders, 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and it has been a fun game to watch if you're a Riptide fan. Here's a fly ball out in the shallow center field. Edier giving chase. The running catch, and he will get there. Looked like he was going to take a tumble for a little bit, but kept his footing and actually ran about 70 feet after making the catch. Ended up more in right field and farther left than the shortstop and the left fielder. More in left field, excuse me. And a nice play and a nice effort by Edier puts one away. In fact, that is the first time since the first inning that the first man has not gotten on base, back when Parente struck out to lead off the game. So Polson pops out to the center fielder. That's going to bring up Tate Shaw. First pitch, check swing, a fastball up high. He did not go around, 1-0. Shaw 3 for 3 on the day with a double and a couple of singles. Come around to score twice. The 1-0. Inside with a fastball, 2-0. The lefty delivers to the lefty, Shaw, who takes a two-seam fastball. Looks like it ended up on the outside corner, 2-1. cooled off considerably here. You could probably tell just by the shading on that stream you're looking at. 2-2, shot takes another one. But as I've mentioned, it's taken me 3 waters to get this far. 3 waters. And I'm the type of guy who, just ask my parents, I'm the type of guy who, it's 101 outside, and I'm thinking about wearing a sweatshirt. It's taken me 3 waters today. At least I used to be that way when I was younger. Full count pitch to Shaw. Swung on and popped up. Looks like it'll stay on the infield, drift into foul territory perhaps. Wallace will get it a step in fair territory, but still on the infield down the first base line. 2 gone. And that is the first time this game that the first 2 hitters of an inning have been set down for the Riptide. And now Hunter Biggie coming into the game as the DH for Mitch Andrews from Harvard University. Normally a pitcher. In fact, he's listed as a pitcher on the roster. But going to take some hacks here. You can afford to do that when you're up by 12. Biggie has actually taken a couple at-bats so far on the season. This isn't his first time with a bat in his hands for the Riptide. 1-0 the count to him. Soto looking for the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for the Barons. It's a ball up high, 2-0. In fact, Biggie has actually appeared in 3 games and has had 4 plate appearances. No hits, though. He has walked. So he's appeared as a pinch hitter in all 4 games and has only had 1 at-bat, or 1 plate appearance in all 4. 2-1 the count. Here he fouls this one straight back into the brick, right in front of one of the spectators, holding a camera out there. 2-2, the count's even. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Looking for the first hit of this inning. This would be the first time that the Riptide have not scored. They're up 13-1. And the pitch. High and outside. Count runs full for the second straight batter. The payoff pitch. Way inside. That's going to run in and hit Biggie. Second hit batsman for the Riptide. Another one was Jackson Williams back in the third. It's the third hit batsman on the day. Jackson Williams is actually going to come up to the plate now. He's going to bat for the 3rd time in as many innings. On the day, he is 1 for 1. A single in the 3rd. He's been hit by a pitch and has walked. He's come around to score twice. First pitch, a big swing and a miss. Trying to hit a 5-run home run there. Gets away from the catcher Hayes, but a dead ball called by the umpire, so Biggie not able to move up. Williams looking to keep that run streak going. They scored 4 in the first, 1 in the second, 6 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. None here in the 5th, and there's already 2 outs, but there is a runner on. Something gets in the gaps. Biggie does have good speed for a pitcher. There's another big swing and a miss, a foul tip into the glove of Hayes behind the plate, 0-2. Williams has found himself in this position once before and was able to work his way back to a 3-2 count before getting hit by a pitch. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Number 2 up to the plate. Second baseman Williams takes a fastball that runs outside, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Another fastball outside, 2-2. Aaron Soto has done a good job of throwing hitters off balance. He's also done a very good job of mixing up his timing with that runner over at first. There's been times when he's held onto the ball for several seconds and times where he throws it almost immediately after coming set. The 2-2 pitch is another fastball inside this time. It's full once again for the 3rd straight batter. So from 0-2 to 3-2, the runner at first, Biggie, will be off. The 3-2 is on the way, and it is fouled off to the left side into the Riptide dugout. A nice play by Tiger Peterson. Got it barehanded. Count remains full. And the payoff pitch. Swung on and drilled into center field, but almost straight at Edier. Edier moves in slightly and makes the catch to retire the side. So no hits, one left on. First time the Riptide have not come across is in the bottom of the fifth. But they do lead 13-1, and that Elephant has only one chunk out of it. They're looking to keep that lead as we head to the sixth inning. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. I'd like to apologize for something I've been doing throughout the game. I've been calling the center fielder Trevor Edier. I've just gotten word from the PA crew that it's actually Edier. So Edier is up to the plate now to face Akamatsu out there for his second inning of work, and the first pitch he sees is a fastball low and away in the dirt, 1-0. Edier 0 for 2 on the day, ground into a fielder's choice in the first, and then got picked off, and is grounded out to the shortstop, Phillip. Now, of course, Gomez is working over there in short, and this time he pops it up into shallow center field. Fletcher running in and making the catch to retire his man, to retire his opposite number. One gone now here in the top of the sixth. 13-1 lead for the Riptide.
33, Joseph Argamedo.
Argamedo coming up to the plate now. Argamedo 1 for 2 on the day. Singled in the first and then grounded out to the third baseman Gomez at the time. Now, of course, Phillip over at third. First pitch he sees is a fastball in the dirt, 1-0. Argamedo, you take a look. You can see it on the stream. I guarantee you can see it on the stream. But he's got flow like Troy Polamalu. He must use Head and Shoulders. The 1-0 pitch is a two-seam fastball that runs inside, 2-0. You look at that and you think Joe Mauer, back when he used to do those shampoo commercials, you think, gosh, I want hair like that. If I could grow hair like that and make it work, I'd try to do it. And I'm sure my mom and dad wouldn't like it, but hey, they can't control me. I'm out of the house now. 2-1 the count now. It's a fastball, 2-2, low and inside corner. One gone here. Akamatsu struggled his way through the fifth and allowed a run to come across. Here's a foul ball over to the left side. A good effort by Biggie over there in the dugout, trying to lean over and make the play, but couldn't get it. Count still 2-2. Akamatsu spent some time on the Orange County Surf this year, but really caught the eye of the Riptide coach, Tiger Peterson. And after a couple of games where he was just absolutely dominant in the Surfs League, Peterson asked him to come up and play for the Riptide, and he has been just as effective in the CCL. There he struck out Argamedo. A nice two-seam fastball that Argumento swung over the top of. 2 gone now. Only the second strikeout of the game for Riptide pitching. First pitch, a breaking ball on the inside corner. Even Polston was a little bit confused by that, couldn't hold on to it, but it's a strike. 0-1 to Wallace. Wallace 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out in the first and flew out to Fletcher in the fourth. Of course, both of those were against Shenfield, and Shenfield was absolutely phenomenal on the mound. Akamatsu trying to do his best to do a Shenfield impression. Struggled through his first inning of work, now looking to go 3 up, 3 down, just as Shenfield did. There's a fastball that runs just below the knees, maybe a little bit inside as well, 1-1. You know, I talked about the bugs, and they're only getting worse. They've been buzzing around me all day. Here's a foul ball straight back at the plate. That was a big hack. Wallace trying to get his team back into it. Trying to hit one over the fence out there and left. 1-2 the count now. But I can't go 5 seconds at this point without either a fly landing on me, on my notes, or buzzing right by my ear. It's tough to keep your mouth as close or consistently close to the microphone when all this is happening. There's a hard line drive down the left field foul line, but foul into the little trench where everybody has to go by due to all the construction on the parking lot. No, the construction hasn't really begun yet. We were warned at the beginning of the year that this was going to happen. We said it would be happening for about 2 years, but I'm not sure exactly when it started, so we don't know how long it's going to be this way. The 1-2 pitch is a fastball down low, 2-0. Or 2-2, excuse me. But until then, we'll all park at the top of the hill. Right, we're just beyond the batter's eye, or where the batter's, like, in the same line as the batter's eye. The 2-2 pitch. Wallace thought about it, but he held up. Count runs full. Akamatsu looking to go 1-2-3 for the first time in his 2 innings of work. He got Edier, to pop up to the center fielder, and then got Argumento to strike out. There he almost got his second strikeout. Another 2-seam fastball that tried to run inside toward the back foot of Wallace. But unlike Argumento, Wallace able to make contact. Count remains full. On deck waits the catcher, Jesse Hayes. And there's a fastball at the knees, and he got Wallace looking. And grab some pine, Wallace. It's been a while since I said that, and I'm glad I could say it. 3 up, 3 down for Akamatsu. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Still a 13-1 lead for the Riptide. Stay tuned to the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll be right back. So the 9 spot coming up to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th for the Riptide. Paul Gomez in to face Aaron Soto for his second inning of work. And here's a high, deep fly ball to left. Moving on into his Whitfield toward the line, and he is not going to get there. It's going to go into the corner. Gomez is going to head into second with a stand-up double. So that's exactly how you want to lead off an inning. trying to prove to the Barons that, hey, you're not going to make us score 0 runs for the entire rest of the game. That's only a one-time thing. We're going to put up cricket numbers the rest of the contest. We're in the bottom of the 6th, a 13-1 lead. Top of the lineup up now. That was the first hit for Paul Gomez, the newest University of Missouri baseball player. Now Connor Beck up to the plate. First pitch, a two-seam fastball that stayed inside. Inside. 1-0. Gomez now 1 for 3 on the day with a walk and a run scored. It's not a bad day at the plate. Connor Beck is 1 for 2. And he took the 1-0, and now it's 2-0. You know, I something came up to me during the break between the top and bottom of this inning. I've talked a lot about the Riptide's All-Stars, but I haven't really talked anything about what the Barons All-Stars have been able to do all year. So the Barons are going to send 4 to their own home field because that's where the All-Star game is being played on Wednesday. 3-0 count and the pitch. Way inside, Connor Beck's going to take that, and it's going to be ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk, and there's going to be 2 on, nobody out. But the 4 All-Stars for the Barons, we haven't seen any of them in this game. You got Solomon Bates, Javier Garcia, Matt McGowan, and Angel Mora. And you know, one of them has a special place in my heart, Matt McGowan, because if you're a Chapman Panther fan, you know that name well. Matt McGowan goes to my university, Chapman University, doing the name proud. Here's a hard line drive out into deep right center field. Edier giving chase, and he's going to make the running catch. He'll try to toss it into the infield quickly, but not in time to stop Paul Gomez tagging from second and getting to third. So now a runner just 90 feet away with only 1 away. But when I would watch Matt McGowan, pitch for my Panthers, he's dominant. He's dominant every time he goes out there. A lot of Chapman's pitchers are. In fact, we actually got somebody drafted last year, not even a pitcher, a third baseman. Chapman's known for having good pitchers. But the SCIAC, one of the toughest Division III conferences in terms of college baseball. And a lot of people weren't sure, Matt McGowan, if he'd be able to deal with Division I talent or high JC talent. And he's really proven it this season. He's an all-star. Here's a hard line drive out into right center field, just out of the reach of Squire over there at second. The throw to second is not in time, and he's going to try to take third now. Beck is going to stroll on into third, and Greenfield is going to go on into second. Greenfield replacing Fletcher. So an RBI single and the error by the shortstop Martin will put runners at second and third with only 1 away for Jake Pulsion.
Up to bat, the catcher from Houston Baptist University, number 8, Jake Pulsion.
Jake Pulsion on the day, 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. First pitch is a fastball right down Main Street, 0-1. Two runners on in scoring position. It's Greenfield at second and Beck at first. Waiting on deck is the first baseman, Polson. The 0-1. Breaking ball just below the knees in the dirt. Polson thought about it, but the umpire saying he did not go around. 2-0. Or excuse me, 1-1. 14-1 lead for the Riptide. They've scored in every inning but the 5th. The 1-1 high and outside, 2-1. Pulsion struggled through the first part of the year, hitting 125 through the first 10 games, and then really picked it up, and now is his average over 300. Here's a high fly ball to left field. Whitfield takes a couple steps back. He's going to try to charge. Beck will take off from third. He will tag, and he will score. The throw goes into third, not allowing Greenfield to move up 90 feet. But the run does come across and puts the Riptide at 15, and they lead by 14 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Next up, the first baseman for the University of Hawaii, number 17, Logan Colton.
So 2 gone now and 2 runs across, 15 runs on 14 hits. Tied for the most runs they've scored in a game, and we're only in the 6th. Polson takes the first pitch high and outside. 1-0. Something else I love about the Riptide lineup is that Parente at the beginning of the game was a lefty, followed by Phillip a righty, followed by Fletcher a lefty, followed by Polson a righty, followed by Polson a lefty. You go lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, really mix it up. A lot of people like to do that with pitching rotations, but I'd love to see it in the lineup because it doesn't allow a lefty or a righty who's dominant against one of the handedness to really dominate, because you love the lefty-lefty matchup when you're on the mound. Here's a pop-up out in the left side of the infield. The third baseman, Contreras, is underneath it and makes the easy catch for out number 3. Polson walked all the way down to first with his bat in hand, obviously a little bit frustrated with himself there. But it doesn't really matter. A 15-1 lead for the Riptide. They're going to look to keep that lead as we head to the 7th inning. On the Orange County Riptide Network, I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. New pitcher in for the Riptide after 2 innings of work by Kaz Akamatsu. It's now Josh Carpenter, the man from Mississippi, in a town in Mississippi named after one of my favorite actresses, Winona Ryder. Oh, what's that? It's not named after her? Well, I gave it a shot. Yes, I am a Stranger Things fan. First pitch to Jesse Hayes, the catcher, is swung on and missed on the changeup, 0-1. Carpenter spent the last couple of years at East Central Community College. In his second season with that team, he struck out 21 batters in just 9 innings and just 7 walks. His ERA of 4.12 didn't really tell the whole story. He has dominating stuff, overpowering stuff. In fact, that two-seam fastball runs inside. It's 2-1 now. He does have a good splitter. Not a lot of people know that he has a splitter, but he can use it to great effectiveness when he's ahead in the count, but he finds himself in the hitter's count right now, 3-1. He's got a splitter, a sinker, a slider, a two-seamer, a four-seamer, and a changeup. 6-pitch, man, you don't see that every day. The 3-1. Low and outside, ball 4. Hayes is on with a leadoff walk. That's not what you want to do coming out of the bullpen. You don't want to let any more bites of that elephant get taken. However, the elephant got a little bit bigger in the last half inning, scoring 2 runs and expanding that lead farther than where it was before the 5th. 14-run lead, matching their highest run total of the season. Last time they scored 15 runs was against Conejo Oaks, a 15-6 win in Conejo. First pitch. Fouled off to the right side, out of play. Michael Garner, the right fielder, the man at the plate. Haven't been a lot of defensive changes for the Barons in this one. Second pitch was a changeup, swung over the top of it by Garner. 0-2. Garner is 1 for 2 on the day. Singled and popped up to the catcher Polshin. There's a slider that we saw right there. Down below the knees it runs. 1-2. Carpenter has really increased his ability to strike people out over his last couple of years, over the last years at East Central Community College. High school wasn't really a strikeout pitcher, more relied on placement and actually got a lot of ground balls compared to fly balls. Now, at least in his time with the Riptide, he's shown that he likes to live a little bit more up in the zone, which induces more fly balls and actually strikes more people out and has over a 1 strikeout per inning pitched ratio. Fly ball out to right field, just beyond the fence and out of play. Beck gave chase, but to no avail. Count remains 2-2. The 2-2 delivery. Swung and drilled to the left side. The infield was in double play depth, meaning Gomez, the shortstop, was not where he would normally be if there was nobody on base. And then gets through the left side. First and second, nobody out now for Eric Whitfield, the left fielder.
Fielder number 13, Eric Whitfield.
Whitfield, 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded out to Phillip and flew out to Shaw and left. First pitch he sees is a fastball, low and outside corner, 0-1. Carpenter actually lives a little bit close to me, or at least he's staying in the place a little bit close to me as of the moment. Stays very close to Angel Stadium. Here's a fly ball out into left center field, giving chase to Shaw. He's going to get there in time to make the catch for out number 1. And he tried to double up Hayes over there at second, but not in time. Greenfield, who's now playing second, couldn't get it. Couldn't handle the hop. Actually, Shaw was not the one who made that catch. That was actually a great effort by Jackson Williams, who moves in for Shaw, moving from second to left field. And Aaron Greenfield making his first appearance of the year, not in the outfield. He's playing second base. First pitch, swung on and missed by Bruce Martin. 0-1. As I was saying, Carpenter lives like pretty much across the street from Angel Stadium. I don't know how he deals with that. It gets very loud sometimes. I can hear it from my apartment, which is about 1.5 miles away from Angel Stadium. In fact, sometimes I walk to Angel Stadium to watch the games. I am a Chapman student, and they do give Chapman discounts because Chapman's only 1 mile away. Second pitch was high and outside. 1-2 the count now. Martin, 0 for 1, flew out to the center fielder Fletcher and got hit by a pitch back in the 5th. 1-2 is right in there, right down Main Street with the fastball, and it froze up. Martin, grab some pine, Martin. First strikeout for Carpenter. Fourth strikeout of the day for Riptide pitching. 2 gone now, no runs across. He's worked his way out of a jam that hasn't gotten out of it completely yet. Base hit is still likely to score Hayes from second. It's the 9 spot, Darren Contreras. First pitch. Fastball down below the knees. Looked like a little bit of a cutting motion. 1-0. If he has a cutter too and he didn't tell me, I don't even blame him. That'd be the first time he threw it there. And that's just too many pitches to remember in your entire arsenal. There's a 2-seamer. It lands on the outside corner. 1-1, the count's even. 1 run on 5 hits and 2 errors for the Barons. 15 runs on 14 hits and no errors for the Riptide. That's right, you heard that right. 15 runs. Almost a 20. Wouldn't that be something? 2-1 the count now. Darren Contreras played pretty good third base so far today. The 2-1 is down low once again. 3-1. Josh Carpenter, third pitcher, used by Glenn Walker and Tiger Peterson today. Came after Hayden Shenfield pitched 4 spectacular innings, and Kaz Akamatsu followed it up with 2 solid innings as well. Carpenter looking to do what Shenfield and Akamatsu were both able to do, that is limit the Barons' very capable offense. Count's full now, 2 gone, and the pitch. Swung on and missed by Contreras. He got him swinging. Second straight strikeout for Carpenter. 5th strikeout in the game for the Riptide. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Everybody get ready to stretch. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. Tate Shaw going to be the first man of this bottom of the 7th inning. He's going to face Aaron Soto for his 3rd inning of work. A big cut on the high fastball above the shoulders. 0-1. That looks good to a hitter. That's why you throw it. Looks good. Looks like it's going to drop into the top of the strike zone. A lot of hitters don't have fast enough hands to catch up to that. Only a couple I can think of off the top of my head. Here's a line drive out to the second baseman, Squire. A 2-hopper on the first for out number 1. So 1 quick out on 2 pitches from Soto. That's going to bring up Hunter Biggie. Hunter Biggie came in the 4th inning to replace Mitch Andrews, who was the designated hitter to start off the game. Soto, the lefty, facing the righty Biggie. First pitch. The slow breaking ball. Just high, 1-0. That's one of the toughest pitches to hit, in my opinion. The 1-0. Fastball down low. Looked like a 2-seamer, 2-0. That slow curve is so difficult to hit because, oh, you've seen somebody like Randy Johnson pitch it. In fact, Randy Johnson actually threw it to Eric Chavez. I remember this so clearly because I'm an older brother and I have to be bandwagon. And back when the A's were good, I was an A's fan. Now that the Giants are good, I'm a Giants fan. Or the Giants used to be good. Now they're one of the worst teams in the league. But that's beside the point. I saw Randy Johnson throw a 53-mile-an-hour changeup to Eric Chavez. There's a fly ball out in the deep center field. Edier giving chase, and a step or two in front of the warning track, he will retire Biggie. And Biggie just has to tip the cat to that one. A long run by Edier retires his man, 2 gone. But after that 53-mile-an-hour changeup, you could visibly see Eric Chavez was just sort of bouncing and was like, huh, well, so he's got that. Not sure really what else I could do. I saw the same sort of thing happen. It was, I believe, Ryan Dempster against Jason Worth. Here's a high chopper out to the shortstop, Martin. And a very quick release by Martin gets the speedy Williams to retire the side. So the first 3-up, 3-down inning for the Barons. We head to the top of the 8th. Riptide lead 15-1. Stay tuned to the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll be right back. New pitcher in for the Riptide. It's Jeff Cross, the man from Orange Coast College. Yet to pitch for them, but he gets an opportunity to pitch for the Riptide here. And that's Cross with a K, not Cross with a C. And that's ironic because he loves to strike people out. But this time he lets up a high, deep fly ball in the right center field. Moving on, it is Shaw, and he makes the spectacular running catch. 1 gone. That's something you see from Kevin Kiermaier or Kevin Pillar. Why are there so many good Kevin fielders in the MLB? Either way, it's 1 gone here in the top of the 8th, a 15-1 lead for the Riptide. That was the top of the lineup, Caleb Squire. Now Trevor Edier is going to come up to the plate. Trevor Edier made a nice play himself against Hunter Biggie in the last half inning. And Hunter Biggie has actually found his way over to first base now. Here, Edier lines it right back up the middle. A base hit to Shaw in center. 1 gone, 1 on. Cross from Upland High School looking to make his way, looking to make his mark on a pretty loaded Orange Coast College team. He's a Pirate. That's what the OCC mascot is. First pitch to Argumedo. Breaking ball, looks like a 12-6 curve. Don't see many of those. Down low, good take by Argumedo, 1-0. I remember the 12-6 curve fondly, because if you've played MLB The Show, or 2K like me and my brother love to, you know the 12-6 curve is the toughest thing to hit, because it just all of a sudden drops right immediately, and you can't see spin on a video game, so just got to sort of hope. That's what me and my brother, I guarantee you, there was at least 1 or 2 games where me and my brother would play against each other, and 70% of the time, when both of our pitchers would have that pitch, we would only throw that pitch. It was that effective. 2-0 the count to Argumedo, and the pitch is a fastball grounded up the middle. Nice diving effort by Gomez, but he gets through him into center field for a base hit. So Argumedo is on for his second time. He's 2 for 4. He's the only person with a multi-hit game besides Michael Garner in this contest for the Barons. Now the cleanup man, Jason Wallace. He looks to clean up the men on base. There's 2 on, a runner at second in Trevor Edier, and a runner on first, Joseph Argumedo. 1 gone. The double play is in order, and the defense looks to be in double play depth. First pitch, 12-6 curve left up high, 1-0. You know why they call it the 12-6 curve? I didn't know this for quite some time, so I'm wondering if everybody knows. They call it the 12-6 curve because it goes pretty much straight up and straight down. Here's the ground ball to the third baseman, Phillip. Tried to get it pretty much immediately, and oh my goodness, that would have been a spectacular play by Gomez. It came off the glove of Phillip. Third base is not his natural position. Bounced directly off of the glove, almost straight at Gomez, who was running over to cover. Phillip saw this and tried to run back over to third and tried to get the lead runner out because Gomez didn't have a lot of time to throw across his body to first. Wallace has a good speed for his size. He's speedier than he looks. Edier was not sliding, so he was a little bit slower, but the umpire saying he got back in safely. Bases are loaded now with 1 gone. Here's a high fly ball out in the center field. Shaw has a fantastic arm. Doesn't look like he's going to try to test it, though. He's going to toss it to the cutoff man, Gomez, at short. A run does come across on the sacrifice fly. And it's now 15-2, the Riptide lead. Geez, that elephant does not like that chunk taken out of him. Michael Garner, the right fielder, stepping up to the plate. As I've mentioned, before this half inning, he was the only Baron with a multi-hit game. He's 2 for 3. First pitch, fastball outside part of the plate, 0-1. To Garner. Cross delivers. Up high and a little bit tight as well. 1-1. Cross, the tall redwood out there. Delivers a fastball just below the knees, 2-1. Cross, for his size, doesn't have overpowering stuff. Got a fastball that reaches about 88. He does have a 12-6 curve, and I've talked about how dangerous that can be in video games, but he makes it deadly in real life. Nice play by Phillip. The throw across the body. Just too high. That would have been phenomenal. We've seen him make great plays at short, almost right there. Geez, he should be sponsored by State Farm because he steals a lot of things. That was a possible double if that gets through him to the outfield. Goes down the line into foul territory. But instead, it stays out of the outfield. Doesn't allow Argumedo to round third. I'd like to take this time to talk about our sponsor, Parkstone Restaurant, located off of Jamboree and Birch. That's a great place to go after a baseball game. You can get some good after-game food, like burgers and sandwiches. That's some of my favorite food. I might go there after this game anyway. So thank you for being a proud supporter of Riptide Baseball. 1-1 the count now to Eric Whitfield. 1-2 after he fouls that one straight back and out of play over my head. Cross looking for his first strikeout. I mentioned he does strike people out. That's what he's done his entire baseball career. Facing some good competition in the Barons, though. There are 2 away. Already a run across. And the 1-2 swung on and missed. And Polshin, who couldn't handle, is just going to step on home plate to retire the side. So he does end up getting that strikeout, but not before a run comes across for the Barons. Riptide still up by 13, though. We head to the bottom of the 8th on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. So up to bat against this new pitcher, Wesley Albert, here in the bottom of the 8th at the University of Concordia Irvine. Paul Gomez, the man from Mizzou. First pitch he sees, he pops it back and out of play very high, just to the right of me, about 20 feet to the right of me. 0-1. Gomez 1 for 3 on the day, had a double back in the 6th and would come around to score on a single by Fletcher. Here he fouls this one off to the right side once again, 0-2. Wes Albert, the man out there, known as his full name Wesley Albert, plays for Lee University from Rochelle, New York. Previously went to Westchester Community College in New York. Here's a big swing and a miss. Gets through the catcher, Hayes. Gomez is going to try to get down to first, and he will make it there on the drop third strike. So counted as a strikeout, but he gets to first anyway. And he's going to bring up the top of the lineup, Connor Beck, with a man on and nobody out. So what was a strikeout is now no one out. So the Red Raider Beck looking to do what he's done all day today. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a single and got on via an error by the catcher Hayes. Here's a big swing and a miss on a fastball in the outside corner, 0-1. But Albert has pitched pretty well for Lee University, a 3.33 ERA. In fact, there was a game against Bellarmine College where he pitched 6 innings and gave up only 5 hits and 3 walks and struck out 7. It was arguably one of his best outings. 1 run, but none earned. Toughest outing came up against Alabama Huntsville, where he went 2/3 and gave up 7 runs, all of them earned. But he was able to limit that to a 3.33 ERA. In fact, through his first couple of outings, he had a 1.93 ERA. That was up until Alabama Huntsville when he bumped that up to an 8.1 and then was able to work it down to 3.3 to end the season. So he's done his job to limit the damage against him. Pretty much only one seriously bad outing. He's had a couple outings where he's given up runs. But for the most part, he's been able to limit damage done against him. The 1-2 pitch was fouled off straight back, 1-2. It remains. Keep in mind that if you ever come to one of these games, bring a kid. They'll go get foul balls, and if you get the foul ball and return it to the snack shack, you get a free popsicle. And on days like this, I guarantee you want a popsicle. And there are no better popsicles than those you get from the snack shack. They have good deals as well. Go down there, you can get a bag of chips for a pretty cheap price, bottle of water for a good price, in ballpark standards. 1 and 2, the count still to Beck. No one out, and the runner on first is Paul Gomez after the drop third strike. Gomez actually didn't know it was a drop third strike and just sort of stood there after the swing and miss. When he turned around and saw Hayes running to the backstop, that's when he took off to first, and that's the tough thing about drop third strikes. No matter how long that the runner sits there, if it gets far enough away from you, the runner is probably going to get down to first without any possibility of getting it. Count is 2 and 2. And the pitch is swung on and drilled to right field. Moving back on it is Garner, and he will make the catch 1 away. Coming up to the plate now, Cooper Ewell. Ewell is coming in for Bo Phillip, so he will probably play third base. Ewell, sort of like a Swiss Army knife on this team. We've seen him bat righty, now from the left side. And that's something I've really wanted to see because we've seen Cooper Ewell take swings from the right side. And every time he comes up to the plate, he swings once righty and once lefty. And this is the first time we've seen him bat lefty, or at least I've seen him bat lefty. So I was always wondering, does he actually switch hit? Or is he just doing that to sort of get into the swing of things and just sort of warm himself up? Now we do see him on the left side, and we'll see if he can, in fact, get on base perhaps. The 1-0 pitch was fouled off straight back, right into the chain link fence. Doesn't look like the stream got knocked off too much. 1-1. Man on first is Gomez. 1 away, 1 ball, 1 strike. For the 2 spot, Cooper Ewell, who takes a changeup, high and inside corner, 1 and 2. Ewell going to be one of the 7 representatives for the Riptide in the upcoming CCL All-Star game. Listed as a catcher, there are only 3 catchers going to be playing for the Southern team. We'll yet to see if he's a starter as he swings and misses at that high heat. 2 gone now for Aaron Greenfield.
Up to bat for the Riptide, the second baseman from the University of North Carolina, number 6, Aaron Greenfield.
Aaron Greenfield, talented in all facets, not just of baseball, but of life. You ever seen him play an instrument? He can play like 3, and he does them all well. He lines this one straight to Garner on the very first pitch for out number 3. So, 1 on and 4 outs recorded by Wesley Albert in that half inning. We head to the top of the 9th, a 13-run lead for the Riptide. I was hoping they would beat their previous season-high run total, but it looks like they'll keep it there. But hey, this might be their biggest run differential of any game of the season. We'll be right back with the top of the 9th on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. New pitcher in for the Riptide here to close out this game unless the Elephant is completely devoured in this inning. 13-run lead for the Riptide. First pitch is a two-seam fastball at the knees, 0-1. Looks like the win is going to go to Kazakamatsu after Hayden Shenfield went 4 super strong innings, but you can't get the win unless you go 5. 0-2 after the swing and miss from Martin. Martin 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout, a fly out, and a hit by pitch. The 0-2 delivery from Tim Holdgraffer. Slider swung on and missed by Martin. His first strikeout of the day by Holdgraffer. Second strikeout for Martin.
Next up, the third baseman, number 4, Darren Contreras.
Now the bottom of the lineup, Darren Contreras coming up to the plate, 0 for 3. Tim Holdgraffer from Grossmont Junior College. So last year made 18 appearances, including 14 games started, where he went 11-0. Ground ball to the shortstop, Gomez. A little crow hop and a throw on over to the first baseman, Beck, who moves in there from right field. And they get out number 2. So what happened was Yule came in for Bo Phillip, and because of that, Hunter Biggie moved from first to third. Yule moved from third to right field, and the right fielder, Beck, moved to first base. So everybody getting to try out a couple of positions here. 2 gone in the top of the 9th. Holdgraffer delivers. Here's a high pop-up out to shallow right field. Greenfield is underneath it and makes the catch. That retires the side here in the top of the 9th. A nice, outstanding win for the Riptide. 15-2 is the final score. 15 runs on 14 hits for the Riptide. 2 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors for the Barons. So they sweep the Barons, take both games in Compton, and take this game at home. The final score of all 3 games combined was the Riptide 25, the Barons 6. So only 1 game left before the All-Star break for the Riptide. That's going to be tomorrow here once again against the San Luis Obispo Blues, who the Riptide have been able to beat earlier in the season. They look to keep their 4-game win streak going. But for today, a very nice effort, pitching and hitting-wise. And what a game it was, particularly for Tate Shaw. We'll be right back with interviews with both Hayden Shenfield and Tate Shaw when we come back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned.